Welcome to Backyard Bushcraft with MSCR's Outdoor Programs. I'm Justin Schmitz. On the camera, we've got Maddie Rock. We're field supervisors for MSCR. And today what we're going to be doing is firewood collecting in winter or wet conditions. Now the goal for firewood collecting is to find bone dry wood that you're going to use to start your fire. Okay, we don't want to use green or live wood, okay, or a really wet wood because it just takes way too much energy to get a fire started. It's not going to work well. So we're looking for bone dry dead wood. The types of wood that we're looking for tinder, kindling, and fuel. Tinder, really small sticks and twigs, things that are about the size of a charging cord, birch bark, leaves, dry grass. It's all stuff that you can start on fire and it will take off real quick. Kindling is going to be about the size of a pen to about your finger, okay? This stuff won't start on fire real quick, but it's going to burn a little bit longer once it does. And finally, fuel is going to be anything bigger than your finger and up to about the size of your wrist or your forearm, and this is going to be the stuff that will take a long time to light, but is going to burn for a long time. Safety stuff you might need to go firewood collecting. Always good to have a good pair of work gloves or any type of gloves to protect your hands. Solid boots. All right, you don't want to go out in the woods in sandals or open-toed shoes. And then finally, you might want to have a saw along as well to start sawing some stuff out, okay? Leave no trace principles. One thing we're not going to do while collecting firewood is cut down live trees, okay? We don't need live trees. We want to let those keep growing. Also, they're terrible firewood, so don't cut live trees or collect stuff that's really green and still alive. And in winter or wet conditions, the best stuff you're going to find is going to be stuff that's standing dead and doesn't have any bark on it. So let's say for winter, for example, you're walking around, it's kind of hard to tell. Nothing has any leaves on it, so how do you know if it's dead and bone dry? Great indication. If it's standing up straight up and down like this and it hasn't have any bark on it, it is bone dry. It has been dead for a while. The bark has fallen off. And this is going to be some of the driest stuff you're going to find. Stuff that's still standing but doesn't have any bark on it because it's sitting straight up in the air. It's getting air dried all the time, and it's not in contact with any snow or moisture on the ground. Right here, we got a great example. If you can't find enough standing dead trees that are 4 inches or less, you start looking around for wood that's basically standing up in the air or it's fallen over, but it's still up in the air and dry. So this is a great example. This is bone dry wood. There's no bark left on it. It's not in contact with the ground. So this is a great piece of firewood to find. You may also find a tree that's fallen over and it's got branches and it's dead and it's got branches sticking up in the air. Again, it's really great when it's not in contact with the ground because it's not absorbing moisture and it's in the air drying out constantly. So again, even if it's rainy conditions in the summer, right, it might be wet on the outside, but most likely it's bone dry on the inside, and that's what we're looking for. A good spot to look for really dry firewood, whether it's in winter conditions or in wet, rainy conditions, is stuff that's fallen from the trees above on the small brush and other small trees near the ground. You can see that this stuff here is just dead stuff hanging in this tree. There's another one right here, you know. And the reason this is really good stuff, whether it's wet on the outside because it's raining or because it's winter and it's not in the snow, is that it's been hanging up in the air. It's not touching the ground. It's not absorbing any moisture. In the summer when it's raining, it might be wet on the outside, but most likely it's bone dry on the inside. So this is a great spot looking around these bushes for little pieces of sticks that have fallen from trees.